Donald Trump's own pollster, Fabrizio, just handed Trump a report that has him panicked, freaking out, and he blinked and took drastic action, withdrawing the nomination of Elise Stefanik as his ambassador to the United Nations, also fearful that he was going to lose her seat in a special election in New York. Let me explain what went down. So Fabrizio, who does all of the polling for Donald Trump, handed the Trump regime a report about the current polling data in Florida's 6th congressional district. This is an area that was plus 30 in favor of Donald Trump. This was the seat held by Mr. Leaker himself, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, who started that group text thread on Signal and invited the editor-in-chief from The Atlantic onto that thread. Now, everybody expected this was going to be a super safe seat for the MAGA Republicans to keep, so much so that Donald Trump continued to nominate MAGA Republicans from the House of Representatives onto his cabinet. That created just a razor-thin majority for the MAGA Republicans in the House of Representatives. In this report by Donald Trump's pollster, Fabrizio, it shows for Florida's 6th special congressional election that Josh Weil, the Democrat, who before this almost nobody heard of, he's at 44%. Randy Fine, the MAGA Republican candidate who's despised and detested by everyone other than Donald Trump because he just sucks up to Donald Trump, he's at 41%. There is a 10% undecided group, and this district is overwhelmingly ruby red and Republican. So Trump got handed this report, and then Donald Trump saw the political earthquake that took place in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, there in the 36th Senate District in Lancaster County, which did not go Democrat since 1889, flipped from red to blue. In Lancaster, unheard of. People in Elizabethtown were voting blue. This is so rare. And there, just like what we see happening in Florida 6th, in the 36th Senate District in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, these Democrats are running on a simple strategy: anti-Musk, anti-Doge, anti-MAGA, anti their destruction and hostile takeover of the federal government. And also the most recent polling for the special election in the Wisconsin Supreme Court has Judge Susan Crawford up 8 to the MAGA Doge boy candidate, Brad Schimmel, the extremist who wants to give Elon Musk the rubber stamp. The pro-democracy Judge Susan Crawford up 8 there in some of the recent polling. So Trump is freaking out right now. As Melanie Zanona from CNN explains, here's what kind of went down. New details about Trump then withdrawing Stefanik's nomination because Trump's like, holy crap, we may then lose Stefanik's seat in New York. She's a plus 21 seat. So what if we lose the plus 30 seat in Florida, the plus 21 seat in New York? We could lose the House of Representatives. MAGA can be done already. We don't have to get to 2026. So Trump blinked. Here's what he did. So in his convos with people today, Trump was freaked out, expressing frustration with Mike Waltz for his creating of this Signal chat. And then also, Trump was not even told, apparently, that 4 American soldiers died in Lithuania, and then Trump didn't even issue a statement about it. What a sick individual Donald Trump is, but he claims he wasn't even advised about it. It also talks about how Trump is now pissed that this district in Florida 6th from Fabrizio seems like it now can flip blue. Yep, this Fabrizio poll, it's the same firm that worked for Trump's campaign. The February iteration of this poll showed the MAGA Republican up 12. So a complete flip and 16 points. So Trump's nervous. He's panicked. And then you have Elise Stefanik, who went ultra MAGA. She was like a Bob Dole center of the road kind of Republican, and she went ultra weirdo MAGA to suck up to Donald Trump. And now she's hit with instant karma because Trump has to pull her nomination. Bye-bye, Elise. You don't get to become the ambassador to the United Nations anymore, one of your dream jobs. That's what happens. It's called karma, Elise. So here's what Donald Trump posts. He goes, as we advance our America First agenda, pause there for a second. What he means by that is take away your Social Security, take away your Medicaid, take away veterans benefits, dismantle the federal government, impose tariffs and do trade wars and wars on our allies, make America isolated, destroy America's economy, destroy your 401k, destroy your life savings. I just want to be clear what he talks about. He goes, we must maintain every Republican seat in Congress. We must be unified to accomplish our mission, and Elise Stefanik has been a vital part of our efforts from the very beginning. I have asked Elise, as one of my biggest allies, to remain in Congress to help me deliver historic tax cuts, great jobs, record economic growth, and secure border energy dominance and peace through strength and much more so we can make America great again. With a very tight majority, I don't want to take a chance on anyone else running for Elise's seat. As Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries writes, Donald Trump won Elise Stefanik's district by 21 points in November 2024. He withdrew her nomination to be the UN ambassador because the extremists are afraid they will lose the special election to replace her. The Republican agenda is extremely unpopular. They are crashing the economy in real time, and House Republicans, the Doji crew, they are running scared. What happened to their so-called mandate? Also currently on Drudge is this photo right here. Not really sure why I'm showing that to you, but it's that photo right there. I had the opportunity to speak to the Democratic ranking member, meaning he's the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. And I asked him, what do you make, Congress member, about Elise Stefanik's nomination being pulled? He agreed. Trump, MAGA, running scared. Watch this.
Inside this building, I do think that there are a whole lot of Republicans who have realized that the time has run out on the idea that you can cut $880 billion out of Medicaid through waste, fraud, and abuse. A lot of people got very sober wake-ups this week when they realized, oh my God, I got to go back to my constituents and tell them that we're about to destroy Medicaid. So I think they start to see the unanimity fraying here. You know, from Elise's standpoint, I know Elise really well. We served on the Intelligence Committee together. It's almost, you said karma, it's almost Shakespearean, right? I mean, Elise was a classic Bob Dole Republican when she got here, you know, did what she needed to do to become a MAGA darling. And now just as high office is right there, you know, the Shakespearean gods have pulled that out, pulled the rug out from under her. So it's a karma, Shakespearean, whatever you want to call it.
Folks, I also had the opportunity to interview Josh Weil, the Democratic candidate running for Florida's 6th congressional district. Josh Weil tells me the following. Let's play the clip.
Yeah, people are excited. You know, we have a real race here. You know, we've known from the beginning that, you know, this is a district that has been neglected by the state and national party for a long time. And, you know, if we were able to handle our business, get our fundraising right, you know, build the right campaign, that we'd be able to get a real response from people. And, you know, then January 20th happened. Then, you know, we've got all of the executive orders, the fast and furious barrage against, you know, the infrastructure of our nation, public services that residents here rely on. It's a district that's 25% age 65 plus. You know, they're not happy about massive cuts to the Social Security Administration. They're not happy about cuts to veterans benefits, you know, Medicaid, Medicare. They're feeling the impact immediately. And, you know, we've been here with them the whole way, making sure that they have someone who will fight for them to preserve those systems in Congress.
Also, Josh Weil told me the following. Let's play the clip.
We had no real Democratic campaign here. In the last 3 cycles, one of them, there was no Democratic nominee for this seat. And the other 2, the congressional candidate was unable to raise more than $35,000 over the entire 2-year stretch. So, it's like more like an R+14 when you look at the current voter registration data, which is a lot more winnable. It's not that our message has been rejected in the past. It's that there was no one here getting the message out. Messaging isn't free. You got to be able to build a real campaign to get out and talk to people. And, not only have we been able to do that, but in his arrogance, Randy Fine felt that he didn't have to. He spent months not campaigning. Last month, he was interviewed by a newspaper and they asked him, what are the issues most important in the district? And he's like, I don't know. He goes, it doesn't matter. He goes, because I'm here to serve Donald Trump. I don't need to know what issues are important to the people there. He took 2 months off, raised no money, which, honestly, we were surprised by. We knew we were going to have outraised him because we were handling our business and getting our work done, but he didn't even try raising money for a future war chest for 2026. He did absolutely nothing. No outreach, no messaging, no building of a campaign, just hiding out in Tallahassee from the voters. And now he's scared. Now he's struggling. And we feel really good about it. Look, there's a lot of Republican voters in this district, right? There's definitely enough that if they overturn out, they can take this thing back from us in 7 days. But right now, we feel really good about where we're at.
One thing I want to remind you about Elise Stefanik as well is that she believes that Gaza should not exist at all. She believes that the Palestinian people should not exist at all. She says, this is her view, she's pro-genocide, and she's saying over here that she believes that Israel has a biblical right to the entire West Bank and that there cannot be a two-state solution, and that she's for, I guess, what Trump's plan is, when he wants to create Trump Gaza and move every Palestinian out to somewhere else. This is what Elise Stefanik had to say. Play the clip.
Rarely surprised by answers in my office, but I did ask you whether you subscribe to the views of Finance Minister Smotrich.
Who? I'm sorry, Finance.
Smotrich, this is the Israeli Finance Minister Smotrich, and the former National Security Minister Ben Gvir, who believe that Israel has a biblical right to the entire West Bank. And in that conversation, you told me that, yes, you shared that view. Is that your view today?
Yes.
Okay. I think when it comes to this very difficult issue, if the president is going to succeed at bringing peace and stability to the Middle East, we're going to have to look at the UN Security Council resolutions, not just the ones on Lebanon, which we should enforce, but other UN Security Council resolutions. And it's going to be very difficult to achieve that if you continue to hold the view that you just expressed.
And you hear her say it in her own words right there. By the way, Trump can't even pronounce Elise Stefanik's name. Here, please listen to this.
Do you see that, the three people? How good did Elise Stefanik do?
And finally, just so you have a sense of who Elise Stefanik is, she was asked if you believe E. Jean Carroll. Remember, Trump's a sexual predator, right? Trump's a felon. He's a sexual predator. He's a criminal. He was found civilly liable for sexual assault. He's on audio talking about sexually assaulting women, grabbing women without their consent of their genitals. And he says, when you're famous, they let you do it. That's on tape. And then Donald Trump spoke in front of a young group of Republicans, teenagers. And he said that's one of the most courageous things he's done, was call it locker room talk, he said. And that's what he told the young Republicans. I've showed you other clips. I'm not going to play that now. But let me show you what Elise Stefanik had to say about Donald Trump being a sexual predator and being found liable for sexual assault. Play this clip.
Leadership, which is President Trump at the top of the ticket.
How do you grapple with standing by his side while the jury is debating how much to award E. Jean Carroll for being sexually abused by Donald Trump?
These are witch hunts against President Trump, whether it's the bogus, whether it's the bogus case from Tish James, who is a radical prosecutor. They are all witch hunts against President Trump. No, of course not.
The jury found that Donald Trump sexually abused her.
Witch hunts against President Trump, and the reason why is because he is polling ahead of Joe Biden, and Joe Biden is the weakest candidate we've ever seen. No, I disagree. No, I don't believe that, and I support President Trump. And you know what? The media is so biased. This is just another example of the media being out of touch.
E. Jean Carroll? It's not me. It's not the media. It's a jury that found that he sexually abused E. Jean Carroll.
Again, the media is so out of touch with the American people. Like 2016, you are going to see the American people speak out loudly and clearly with their vote. We are so tired of the biased media shilling for Joe Biden every single day. And the reality is President Trump is going to win. He's going to restore rule of law, and he's going to restore respect for the Constitution in this country.
Seen as more moderate.
Well, there you have it right there, folks. Trump is panicked. I think there's a seismic shift going on in the politics right now of our country. And I just think people are pissed at all of this. People are angry. You have a right to be angry because this is effed up what's going on, what they're doing to veterans, what they're doing to the Department of Education, what they're doing to Medicaid, what the Trump regime's doing to Social Security. These are bad people. These are evil people in the Trump regime who hate America, and they're doing this to hurt you. And I think Americans understand it, and they're rising up, and they realize that this Trump, Musk, Doge, MAGA group hates America. I think it's that simple. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.